If you had to come up with something that would instantly result in the greatest amount of progress for humanity, what would it be? Would it be some AI chip implanted in our brains? Would it be some way to make us all recycle, reduce, and reuse? Or would it be something that extends our lifespan? What new miracle is this question making you think about? What if I told you that it may not even require inventing anything new? Today, we explore exactly that. In the next several minutes, I promise to shift your perspective on this matter. Just so that we are all on the same page here, let me start by clarifying that I'm talking about material progress here. But what counts as material progress? Well, think about it this way. We went from using leeches to cure illnesses to modern medicine, MRIs, and organ transplants. We went from the backbreaking manual labor of farming for little output to high-output industrial-scale mechanized farming. We went from high infant mortality and low lifespan to our babies not dying that easy and us living longer than we've ever lived before. Even compared to just decades ago, the average person now gets to have the greatest amount of both information and entertainment at their fingertips. So when I talk about making material progress, I'm referring to the development of these type of things. Assuming you're not against such progress but support it, we can proceed with the rest of the video. So, what causes a society to progress? If you're thinking it, you're right. There is no way I'm about to address such a complex subject in such a short time. But what I can and will do is to have you agree on a simplified model for progress. In human societies, progress always starts with a phase of exploring the unknown, aka the research phase. Many ideas get tested over time by many people, and over time, the dust of competing ideas settle. Provided that the dust settled naturally in a fair and competitive environment, and not because some of us went around silencing differing views, a legitimate victor emerges. In the implementation phase, through our collective efforts, we breathe life into that idea and it rewards us with progress. The problem is, we are wildly inefficient in how humanity as a whole ends up following this type of a system. And that is exactly where I'm proposing we interject and rethink our ways to help us progress much faster. You see, we can think of our progress like we see it working in strategy games. For example, in a game, when you want to advance the technology you have, you invest in research and then must wait for it to complete. How long it takes you to advance is entirely a factor of how much resources you invest. That mirrors reality a great deal. In real life as well, how much we invest in a field will often dictate how quickly we get positive results in it. Now, we can further break down resources into three major types. One is material, two is money, and lastly, three is a qualified workforce. The material part can be dropped from this example and assumed to be more luck dependent than work. As such, we truly need to focus on the remaining two resources, money and people. Think about the global economy. As in, think about what proportion of the world is even economically able to fund projects that are so forward-looking. Just from the state of the world you're looking at, it becomes self-evident that we as a species, despite our intentions, are mostly non-contributors to such projects. If a large or sizable proportion of the world's population isn't even able to contribute, are we even anywhere near our actual potential to build and deliver amazing things? Poorer economies don't just have money issues, they have institutional problems and widespread corruption. So whatever little they may have gets more abuse than use. A strong economy, or at least a reasonable one, is that strong bedrock for people to build on top of. We could ignore the economic recovery needs of all the underperforming nations. However, if we did so, could we ever be efficient in our overall goal of maxing out human productivity? If you just pause and consider the otherwise boring topic of international economical aid and support through this lens, I'm sure many of you will not only take interest in it, but actively wonder how we can help each other out. After all, others progressing is obviously to our advantage too. Consider a random set of good stuff like irrigation, printing press, penicillin, engines, phones, computers, the internet, etc. Whether you were born in the places on Earth where these things were first invented or not, you get to benefit from them. For this reason, I hope it is obvious to you that the economical health of every nation on Earth deserves our well-considered support. Now that you appreciate the struggles economical challenges can present for us, we can discuss the people-related issues. I will hopefully be able to convince you that the macro-scale economical challenges end up having serious and often severe consequences for the micro-scale individuals. These challenges often create a world where there are no safety nets and competition for survival is brutal. So brutal that even the basic education we take for granted can often become a pipe dream for many in the developing world. Can you imagine how many brains we're losing per generation just to that? Billions of people, simply by being born in the wrong places, are barred from contributing to our progress. Life is a whole different beast to the poverty-stricken kids who couldn't even go to school even if school was free. Many among these countless kids are the extra pair of hands a family needs to keep its head barely above the poverty line. Even if a kid from such a background showed immense interest in the topics that drive society's engine of progress, it's useless in most cases. Probably like all the other dreams of that kid, that interest would get tragically snuffed out by the uncompromising reality of their circumstances. Oh, and God forbid that kid's born with female body parts. Then 50% of humanity will subjugate them in virtually all, if not 100% of societies in some way, shape, or form. Even though females make up about half of our population, it surprisingly takes a lot of blood, tear, and sweat to make people realize that we can't have an efficient engine of progress running with half the cylinders not firing. The fight for equity and equality, therefore, should not be mistakenly seen only through the lenses of some sort of emotional, political, or social justice paradigm. Inequitable share of resources and opportunities may seemingly only harm the victims. However, if you paid attention the last few minutes, I hope it is obvious to you now that in the grand scheme of things, it victimizes humanity. It ensures that we are systematically underperforming. Finally, to fulfill the promise I made to you in the beginning of this video, here is a very simple thought experiment. I'm sure you will agree that humanity has built all these wonders and progress this far, despite having the challenges we discussed. The question then becomes, how far should we have progressed by now had we not been so inefficient? I was about to say that it's like humanity has been fighting a battle with one arm tied behind its back. But the reality is more like we have been fighting with one eye covered, facing the wrong direction, with one arm tied behind our back while the other arm is going for the audience. I hope exposure to this reality helps convince you that we truly do not need miracles, magical or technological, to maximize our progress. Simply working towards a better world, one free of the types of hardship, unfairness, and injustice we discussed today, can do wonders. That's it for today. Please feel free to share your valuable thoughts on the subject in the comment section. If you love content like this, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. You can also check out the other similar videos on my channel. This has been the Scientalist. See you in the next video.